When you see this black and yellow sign, it means A. The road to the right is for one-way traffic only. B. That due to upcoming roadwork, there is a detour to the right. C. Slow down because the road ahead changes direction at an extreme angle. D. There is a crossroad to your right. C. Slow down because the road ahead changes direction at an extreme angle. This sign indicates that the road ahead changes direction at an extreme angle, in this case, to the right. Before you reach such an extreme curve, you should slow down as much as you would when making a turn at an intersection. This sign means A. No right turn. B. Keep right. C. No U-turn. D. Left lane must turn left. A. No right turn. Regulation signs regulate traffic speed and movement, displaying rules which drivers must obey. This regulation sign means that right turns are prohibited. This sign means A. Continue at your current speed. B. You must stop ahead. C. Speeding is not allowed. D. There is a traffic signal ahead. D. There is a traffic signal ahead. This sign indicates that there is a traffic signal ahead. This sign means A. Curves ahead. B. Divided highway starts. C. Divided highway ends. D. Bumps in the road. C. Divided highway ends. This sign warns drivers that the divided highway ends ahead.
Want to ace your DMV test? Click on the link below and get your guaranteed cheat sheet.
This road sign means A. A steep grade is ahead. B. You must turn left ahead. C. Do not enter. D. A four-way intersection is ahead. D. A four-way intersection is ahead. This sign warns that a four-way intersection is ahead. This sign means A. You must turn left or right. B. You are approaching a T intersection. C. The road that you are on intersects with a divided highway. D. You are on an overpass above a divided highway. C. The road that you are on intersects with a divided highway. This sign indicates that the road that you are on intersects with a divided highway. A divided highway is two one-way roadways separated by a median or guide rail. When you see this sign, you must A. Stop completely and check for pedestrians and cross traffic. B. Slow down without coming to a complete stop. C. Stop completely and wait for a green light. D. Slow down and check for traffic. A. Stop completely and check for pedestrians and cross traffic. Any eight-sided sign is a stop sign. At an intersection with a stop sign, you must stop completely and check for pedestrians and cross traffic in the intersection. Wait for the intersection to clear before proceeding. This sign means A. Slow down if an emergency vehicle is approaching. B. Look both ways as you cross the intersection. C. Always come to a full stop at the intersection. D. Slow down and be prepared to stop if necessary. D. Slow down and be prepared to stop if necessary. Decrease your speed as you approach an intersection with a yield sign. Prepare to stop and yield the right of way to vehicles and pedestrians in the intersection or crossroad. You must come to a full stop at a yield sign if traffic conditions require it. If you see this sign, you A. must not pass another vehicle. B. may pass a slow-moving vehicle if you can do so quickly. C. may pass if you know the road ahead. D. may pass, but only at night. A. must not pass another vehicle. Regulatory signs are white, rectangular signs with black markings. Drivers must obey the instructions posted on all regulatory signs. Where this sign is posted, it is prohibited for drivers to pass one another. The posted speed limit shows A. only a recommended driving speed. B. the exact speed at which you must travel to avoid a ticket. C. the maximum safe driving speed under ideal road and weather conditions. D. the maximum safe driving speed under all road conditions. C. the maximum safe driving speed under ideal road and weather conditions. A speed limit sign shows the maximum legal driving speed for the stretch of highway where it is posted. Driving safely may require you to travel more slowly than the posted limit. When conditions are less than ideal, drivers should slow down. What is the appropriate action to take when approaching a railroad crossing that does not have signals to direct traffic? A. Always bring the car to a complete stop. B. Slow down and be prepared to stop. C. All railroad crossings have signals so you will never encounter this situation. D. Increase your speed to get across the tracks quickly. B. Slow down and be prepared to stop. When approaching an unmarked railroad crossing, slow down and be prepared to stop. Before you cross, be sure that no trains are approaching from either direction on any track. If you see or hear a train coming, stop at a safe distance from the nearest track and wait to proceed until after the train passes. Texting while driving is A. always legal, but not recommended. B. illegal. C. a safe activity. D. legal if the driver is using voice-to-text technology. B. illegal. In Virginia, it is against the law to text and drive. Texting is a dangerous distraction from driving, and doing so may result in legal consequences. When you approach a railroad crossing without flashing warning signals or crossing gates, you should A. cross the tracks immediately and as quickly as possible. B. always stop before crossing the tracks. C. prepare to yield to any train at the crossing. D. speed up to beat any oncoming train. C. prepare to yield to any train at the crossing. Always be prepared to yield to any oncoming trains before crossing railroad tracks, particularly if there are no lights or gates controlling the crossing. Never start to cross the tracks until there is room for your entire vehicle on the other side of the tracks. Due to the risk of a vehicle stalling, it is not wise to shift gears when crossing railroad tracks. Your driver license will be revoked or suspended if you are convicted of A. operating a motor vehicle while under the influence of alcohol or drugs. B. making a false statement to the DMV. C. committing a felony involving the use of a motor vehicle. D. all of the above. D. all of the above. The DMV or a court may suspend or revoke your right to drive if you are convicted of one of a number of offenses. These include operating a motor vehicle while under the influence of alcohol or other drugs, making a false statement to the DMV, and committing a felony involving the use of a motor vehicle. A broken yellow line alongside a solid yellow line means A. Passing on the left is permitted from either direction. B. Passing is permitted from the lane next to the broken line. C. Passing is permitted from the lane next to the solid line. D. Passing is not allowed from either direction. B. Passing is permitted from the lane next to the broken line. A broken yellow line alongside a solid yellow line means that passing is allowed from the lane on the side next to the broken line. A speed limit is A. The maximum or minimum legal speed you can travel on a road under dangerous conditions. B. The maximum or minimum legal speed you can travel on a road under ideal conditions. C. The suggested speed to travel on a road under ideal conditions. D. None of the above. B. The maximum or minimum legal speed you can travel on a road under ideal conditions. A speed limit is the maximum or minimum legal speed you can travel on a road under ideal conditions. You may drive more slowly than the posted speed, but it is illegal to drive any faster. You must drive more slowly where signs or signs indicate a school zone or work zone speed limit. If conditions such as road construction or bad weather make the posted speed unsafe, drive under the speed limit. Before changing lanes? A. Use your turn signal. B. Check your side and rearview mirrors. C. Check for other drivers who may be moving into the same lane as you. D. All of these. D. All of these. Before changing lanes, check your side and rearview mirrors for traffic approaching from behind. Use your turn signal to let other drivers know you plan to change lanes. Check for other drivers who also may be moving into the same lane. If you are involved in a serious motor vehicle crash, A. Stop. B. Call the police. C. Determine if anyone is injured. D. All of the above. D. All of the above. If you are involved in a crash, move your vehicle off of the road and stop, if possible. If anyone is injured, call 911 and provide appropriate help. You must report the crash to law enforcement if there is an injury, a death, and/or more than $1,000 in property damage, or more than $200 worth of damage made to non-vehicle government property, such as signs or guardrails. It is unlawful to drive alongside a motorcycle in the same lane. A. True. B. False. A. True. You must never attempt to share a lane with a motorcyclist, even if it looks like there is enough room to do so. Motorcyclists need to have a full lane width to be able to maneuver safely. You may park or stop along the shoulder of the freeway. A. As long as you turn on your four-way emergency flashers. B. If no part of your vehicle is on the road. C. If you need to look at a map for directions. D. Only if you have an emergency. D. Only if you have an emergency. It is prohibited to park on the shoulder of a freeway, except in an emergency. When driving on roads that may be slippery. A. Always drive at the maximum speed limit. B. Use cruise control to maintain a steady speed. C. Reduce your following distance. D. Do not make any sudden changes in speed or direction. D. Do not make any sudden changes in speed or direction. You should avoid making any sudden changes in speed or direction when driving on a slippery surface. Reduce your speed on slippery roads and do not use cruise control. Your vehicle's stopping distance depends on your A. Number of passengers. B. Perception time, reaction distance, and braking distance. C. Vehicle's make, model, and year. D. History of accidents. B. Perception time, reaction distance, and braking distance. The distance required to stop your vehicle depends on perception time, reaction distance, and braking distance. This changes with speed and road conditions. A court may suspend or revoke your driving privilege if you are convicted of A. Driving 10 miles per hour over the speed limit. B. Failing to pay for gasoline. C. Using your headlights during the day. D. Failing to use a blinker. B. Failing to pay for gasoline. A court may suspend or revoke a person's driving privilege if they are convicted of one or more of several offenses: evading the police, failing to properly pay for gasoline, taking the licensing exam for another person, or making a false statement to the DMV can result in license suspension or revocation. To prepare for anything coming up on the road ahead, you should A. Continually scan the entire road and all roadsides. B. Stare straight ahead at all times. C. Drive with your left foot resting lightly on the brake pedal. D. Maintain focus toward the middle of the road. A. Continually scan the entire road and all roadsides. Your ability to handle dangerous traffic situations depends largely on searching for and identifying problems before meeting them. Looking far ahead of your vehicle does not mean you should simply stare at the center of the road. You need to continually scan the entire road, including the sides of the road. On a freeway, you realize you missed your turn or exit. You should A. Make the turn quickly from your lane of travel. B. Stop and back up. C. Continue driving until you reach the next turn, exit, or other location where you can safely turn around. D. Signal other drivers to stop so you can turn. C. Continue driving until you reach the next turn, exit, or other location where you can safely turn around. If you miss your turn or exit, do not back up, but go on to the next turn or exit where you can safely turn around. It is illegal to back up on a shoulder or a freeway. If two vehicles arrive to a four-way stop at the same time, A. The vehicle on the left must yield to the vehicle on the right. B. The vehicle on the right must yield to the vehicle on the left. C. Drivers must make hand motions to communicate with each other. D. One driver should proceed without stopping. A. The vehicle on the left must yield to the vehicle on the right. In general, vehicles at a four-way stop should proceed in the order that they arrive. However, if two vehicles arrive to the intersection at the same time, the vehicle on the left must yield the right-of-way to the vehicle on the right. When parking uphill on a hill or incline with a curb, A. Turn your front wheels sharply toward the curb. B. Turn your front wheels slightly to the right. C. Turn your front wheels sharply away from the curb. D. Keep your front wheels straight. C. Turn your front wheels sharply away from the curb. To keep your vehicle from rolling into traffic when parked facing uphill, turn your front wheels sharply away from the curb. If you are parking uphill on a street that has no curb, turn the wheels sharply toward the edge of the road. When approaching a traffic signal displaying a steady green arrow, drivers A. should merge into a lane in the direction of the arrow. B. should slow to a stop, if it is safe to do so. C. may turn in the direction of the arrow after yielding to traffic and pedestrians already in the intersection. D. may drive straight through the intersection. C. may turn in the direction of the arrow after yielding to traffic and pedestrians already in the intersection. A green arrow displayed on a traffic signal tells drivers that they may turn in the direction of the arrow. You must be in the proper lane for such a turn. Yield the right-of-way to vehicles and pedestrians already in the intersection. You want to turn left at an intersection. The light is green but oncoming traffic is heavy. You should A. use the next intersection. B. wait at the crosswalk for traffic to clear. C. wait in the center of the intersection for traffic to clear. D. take the right-of-way since you have a green light. C. wait in the center of the intersection for traffic to clear. When making a left turn where there is approaching traffic, you must wait for the approaching traffic to go through before you turn. You may enter the intersection to prepare for your left turn if the light is green and no other vehicle ahead of you plans to make a left turn. When changing lanes on a highway, you should A. signal a lane change. B. check your rearview and outside mirrors. C. check your blind spot by glancing over your shoulder. D. all of the above. D. all of the above. Anytime you want to change lanes, you should properly signal your intentions well in advance, check your mirrors, and check your blind spot. You can check your blind spot by glancing over your shoulder in the direction that you plan to move. When driving at a speed between 35 and 45 miles per hour, a driver should maintain a following distance of at least A. 1 second. B. 2 seconds. C. 3 seconds. D. 6 seconds. C. 3 seconds. It is important for a driver to maintain a space cushion around their vehicle at all times. When traveling under ideal driving conditions at a speed that is between 35 and 45 miles per hour, a driver should maintain a minimum following distance of 3 seconds. If a vehicle starts to skid on water, the driver should quickly apply the brakes. A. True. B. False. B. False. If a vehicle skids while hydroplaning, the driver should try to regain control of the vehicle. If that is not possible, the driver should release the accelerator and ride out the skid. The driver should not immediately apply the brakes. Holding a cell phone in a work zone is A. legal if the driver is using voice-to-text technology. B. a safe activity. C. illegal. D. always legal, but not recommended. C. illegal. Drivers may not hold cell phones when passing through work zones. Doing so can result in a fine of $250. When parking your vehicle downhill on a two-way street. A. turn your wheels to the right. B. Turn your wheels to the left. C. Keep your wheels pointed straight ahead. D. Leave your transmission in neutral. A. Turn your wheels to the right. When you park on a downward-facing slope, turn your wheels sharply toward the side of the road. This way, if your vehicle starts to roll downhill, it will roll away from traffic. Vehicle stopping distances never depend on A. Your own reaction time. B. The time of day. C. The condition of your vehicle's brakes. D. The condition and type of your vehicle's tires. B. The time of day. The distance that a vehicle needs to stop depends on the motorist's reaction time, weather and visibility conditions, the vehicle's weight, the conditions of the vehicle's brakes, the condition and type of the vehicle's tires, roadway conditions, and speed.